The college football experience bombs down under episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorchers, where you can win 100 times the amount of money you enter. That's right. Turn $5 into $500 in one game. Plus, every Sunday they're giving away $100,000. Use the promo code SGPN Underdog Fantasy for 100% deposit bonus up to $500. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today, people. And finally, we're giving away $3,000 in our NFL Second Chance Survivor contest presented by Corey Pinkston and Barking Dog Properties. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor before Sunday, folks. Once again, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor, free to enter. And remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to FGPN. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Bombs down under. Oh God, look, it's a Tuesday. We're getting bombs on a Tuesday. We should be so lucky. I mean, look, this is part of the C block, folks, and you're probably wondering what the hell you're listening to. We got the bombs down under before we go to, the man in the box himself and the bottom line bombs episode following this. So make sure you check us out. I'm sorry, I'm working with a little technical difficulty, I feel like, on the sound levels. But look, maybe you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, and that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Nobody knows nothing. Somebody knows. Double the price, but no one touches Dundee.
We got a lot to talk about. I just a great story too I want to talk about. I am joined by my co-host on these bombs down under episodes. Yeah, they call him the man in the box. All right, and look, folks, you should be subscribed to the Bottom Line Bombs podcast because it's following this right here, part of the C block. Give it up for CJ Sullivan. How you doing, brother?
Good, Dundee. Like the Tuesday edition of the C block, I brought the heat with the background, doing it remotely. This is great. We're I don't know.
If you're watching youtube.com/the college experience, we got a glorious backdrop for CJ Sullivan.
People were complaining about the Liberace piano I had in the background, my behind the candle bra, if you will. So now I'm bringing the C block. There it is. That's strong. And it's perfect because I am folks. In the middle. But it actually is in the middle. It fits perfectly.
It does fit perfectly. Look at that right there, the C block, folks. I want to give, you're near and dear to your boys, the Temple Owls, right? Your favorite program. I want to start off.
I have entered the transfer portal when it comes to supporting the Temple Owls.
Well, here's something great. So that Temple has no fans, right?
Yep. No fans, right? Absolutely. No phone base, no swelling, no home crowd advantage. Nothing.
Yeah. When they play at the link, it's probably 10 people there, 150 people, something like that. I just got a great text from College Football Campus Tour explaining that he was trying to get credentialed for the SMU game Friday night. And I love this. They were unable to give him the credentials because he didn't do it a week in advance. Folks, no one goes to your games. Wouldn't you?
Is that the link?
Yeah. Wouldn't you want more buzz around your program?
Well, he's a troublemaker. He looks for those obstructed views, he puts your stadium on blast. No, that's absolutely ridiculous. He can give you nothing but good publicity. And anyone, like even if it was anybody, get anyone to show up. What are you going to tell them no?
You can't even get your janitors to work an extra 12 minutes at that stadium. They're like, let me get the hell out of here. Oh, man.
You turning down Paul Palmer's family now, too? What the hell's going on out there, Temple?
Unbelievable. But I just got that text right when we were about to go live.
That's
Pretty
amazing.
Hilarious.
That's
Pretty
amazing.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, for a school that's not doing great PR-wise the last couple of years, your biggest alumni is Bill Cosby, for fuck's sakes. How about you open the doors a little bit and try to turn things around there?
Well, he's only going to make it better. Like he's only going to tweet this out.
That's what I mean.
It's just mind-numbing. We got some weekday games later today we're going to talk about, but first we're going to react. We wanted to do the show yesterday, and CJ was he big time me. He said, "Hey,
I
Toby, this guy Kimmel is calling." And we, who the fuck are you, Dundee? Right. And I said, yeah, you're right. But, we're getting it done on a Tuesday. And,
it turned right around, and the just like betting itself, it fell right in my face. I went to go shoot a thing with Jimmy Kimmel. I gave him a little fist bump. I told him to go get him. And then today he told me to go fuck myself. I'm not going to be on the air. So I'm back here, tail between my legs, doing the bombs down under.
Well, buddy, look, you always have a home here. All right. You always have a home here. All right. Buddy, this past weekend, let's just start off with the game that everybody was talking about. The Oregon Ducks.
Yeah.
Did you watch this Oregon-Washington game? Because there were some hilarious decisions, and I feel like me and Green argue a lot in the office for situational football.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks you should always go for it on 4th and 3 or 4th and 2. I feel like for most situations, I completely disagree. But the analytics will say you're supposed to go for it. What was your take on Dan Lanning's?
People pick and choose their analytics. Dan Lanning, I want to be aggressive, but if you're going to go for him you have to go for it literally every single time for those numbers to work out right. You can't pick and choose then punt from your own 30. Like it's got to be your own 30 is just like their 30. But the 4th and 8 was absurd to go for it there. And then the 4th and 3 before halftime was crazier because
that was ridiculous. That was the worst one to me. Yeah.
Because you're getting the ball in the second half.
Even if you weren't. I know.
But the fact that you were getting it means you get the points and the ball. So you're getting 3 and the ball. That's just an opportunity. You're giving away your advantage if you don't take the points and the ball. Then you're just doing a coin toss.
The analytics world is does not like to me. If you're looking at numbers for college football, you've lost from the start.
Yeah,
because the Power 5 teams, a lot of them will play FCSs, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them will play a shit ton of more home games, right?
Yep.
So that's got to factor into those analytics. Like the competition you're playing, if you're just taking the numbers, well, it's like, sure, Florida got a 4th and 5 against McNeese, right? Well, McNeese is a shitty FCS school. So, and this happens.
Right.
This happens when you watch these games. So that is factoring into your analytics on your percentage on why you should go for it on 4th and 3, which is why you should not be listening to the analytics because you're on the road against a top 10 team, which you haven't played a top 10 team all year.
Right.
So that in its own right, there is no analytics for that unless you go back to the year before. I just think in college football, when you have 133 teams or, it's pretty stupid to try to take the analytics from, the years past or whatever, because of the competition levels that you play. That's different. It's such a substantial amount. Penn State just played UMass. You know what I mean? Like UCLA played North Carolina Central. Those are that's part of the algorithm then, right? Part of your analytics on what you're coming up with that say you should go for it. I think it's completely ridiculous. I think it's
absolutely competition does mean something. They got to tweak the numbers there, and you're on the road in a big game like that. I mean, you got to take those. You got to take those points where it's at.
And he lost last year in the same year,
way.
folks. If you don't remember this, if you're listening, they were at their own 33-yard line or 32-yard line. They went for a 4th and 1 or a 4th and 2 with their backup quarterback in because Nix had just gotten dinged up, and they did like an option read, and he ended up tripping and falling, and the Washington holds, turns around and kicks a field goal. I mean, it was almost like that scene in Austin Powers where it was like, sir, you have 4. Do you want to hit on blackjack?
Right. Yeah,
and he's like, no. And he's like, okay, you lose. Like Washington's like, oh, we get the ball right here. Okay, we'll kick the field goal and win.
I know.
Unbelievable outcome there. And let me ask you this: do you think Oregon still there to win the Pac-12? Do you think, like, if you had to forecast the Pac-12 championship game,
right?
Obviously, I think you would say you would like Washington's spot, even though Washington still got quite the gauntlet. They still have to play like at Oregon State, at USC, home to Utah, and then home to Washington State in the final Apple Cup. But what would you say right now if you had to, gun to your head? What would your Pac-12 championship be?
Well, it's tough. I mean, I think Oregon still has a great chance, actually, and they had the best loss you're going to see all season too, as far as the voters are concerned too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How that goes. That's as good as a loss as you can get, losing on the last second field goal on the road at Washington. I think it's just to be the most Pac-12 thing of Pac-12 things to do for them to devour each other and keep themselves out of the playoffs by just continuing, the 2 losses. That's exactly
final
what the
year.
Pac-12
We got
does.
it. Yeah, we got to do
Final
this.
year, they're the best conference in the country, and they're gonna eat themselves.
I did just see this news, and I want to pull this up actually because this made me chuckle.
Yep.
Did you see Shane Beamer? So Shane Beamer and South Carolina lose really unbelievably. They were up 10 with like 5 minutes left, and they end up losing. That's their 5th loss to Florida out of 6 years. And Shane Beamer broke his foot in frustration in the game, apparently. Like just pretty hilarious. So we're gonna see. I think he's gonna be on the crutches or something. So I'm trying to get the exact thing that he said. Oh man, this pop-ups keep happening on my screen. But yeah, so he's got a broken foot, and I believe he goes, I broke my foot on Saturday. I'd rather just get it out there and say it, not have you all speculating after the game. So he basically was pissed off after like a coverage bust, I think, and I don't know how. We got to get video footage of this, but he breaks his foot. Look, I don't know. I found that to be fucking hilarious. South Carolina's having a terrible season. They blow a 10-point lead with 5 minutes left. Gamecocks.
That was insane. I was on South Carolina there. -1. That was gross.
Yeah, that's brutal. But we were both on the Pitt Panthers.
We were on them Pitt Panthers. That was Narduzzi of Narduzzi's.
You gotta love a game you win by 17.
Yeah. And
this is the fun part. Ready? And they were outgained by almost 200 yards. You gotta love it. But obviously a critical pick 6 there. Unbelievable outcome there for and now I think if you're a Pitt Panther fan, you're saying, all right, we're 2-4. We can still get to a bowl game. Now you got at Wake Forest this week, but if you win that, it'd be 3-4. Then you follow that with a trip to South Bend. Anything can happen there in that game. Then home to Florida State. So it's definitely not the easiest of schedules, but then at Syracuse. Well, that game's actually in the Bronx. And then home to Boston College and at Duke. So there still is a path for Narduzzi to get the Pitt Panthers bowling. What do you think? What do you like their chances to get? What do they got to get? 4 wins here. They got to get 4 wins. They got Wake, Syracuse, BC. They just got to pull one upset.
Yeah, it's hard to unsee what we saw though those first 5 games, 6 games. What's their record at right now?
They're 2-4. They need 4 wins
Lord.
to get to a bowl. I'll tell you this, man. After watching that game, I saw a little more push on that line of scrimmage, the defensive side of the ball.
They only got 2 wins.
Yeah, and they got some bad losses too. Like Virginia Tech put it on them. But if they win Wake this week in Winston-Salem, it's not a daunting place to win.
No,
they would be 3-4, 3-4 heading into, like, all they need is one upset against either Notre Dame, Florida State, and Duke, and take care of business against Syracuse and Boston College, which I kind of think they can.
Right.
Then they'd be 6-6. Narduzzi goes bowling, and it's another normal Pitt season. What do you think their odds are? You think they're bowling 5-7? What do you think?
I think my over 6.5 win ticket is lit on fire.
I'm on that. I'm on that too. I'm on that too. And I'm cooked.
No, they're not going bowling.
Yeah, I agree. I think
they're not pulling one. They're not pulling any of those upsets, and I'm not sure if they're gonna. I'm not sure if they're gonna handle their business, quote unquote, for Syracuse or Boston College.
What about this Texas A&M Tennessee game? Texas A&M blows the 13-10 fourth quarter lead. Tennessee gets the dub. Texas A&M has just a shit ton of money. You got it, but wait, did you bet this game, by the way?
I leaned A&M. I wound up staying off it, but I did lean A&M because I liked their run defense. I didn't trust Milton, and I was right. But I was also right to lay off it because of Jimbo Fisher and get the Powerball money ready and buy him out.
Oh,
get
man,
fucking Judge out of there. Jesus.
Oh man, I keep saying we're gonna start a war with somebody.
Right.
You know, just to buy him out. But yeah, I mean, another terrible loss. You got to be wondering right now if you're A&M. If you're A&M, you're 4-3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your wins are against New Mexico, ULM, an Auburn team that looks bad, and an Arkansas team that I think is 2-5. Not the best. Now you get a bye week this week, and then Shane Beamer and his broken foot come to town, and then you still got to go to Ole Miss, home to Mississippi State. Now they do get Abilene Christian on November 18th, classic SEC FCS schedule, and then at LSU. But best case scenario, I think you're 8-4. Best case scenario. Yeah, I think like they would probably be dogs at Ole Miss and at LSU. Let's say they split that. They could beat Mississippi State, Abilene Christian, and South Carolina at home, but you're still 8-4, which is you fired the last coach that kept going 8-4, and Kevin Sumlin. So that can't have people happy as it looks like their chances of playing in the SEC championship are very bleak. So you think they'll buy him out? You think they'll give him another year?
I think they will. I think that's all they have their money for is to buy out fucking college coaches every 2 or 3 years. That's all they spend it on. You know, they give absurd contracts like the Supreme Court judges you can't get rid of, and now you got to buy them out. And he's got to go. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, unbelievable. They're gonna. I think his buyout is like $74 million.
No, it's insane.
Unbelievable.
Like these guys have life sentences and contracts in there. It's like getting a Supreme Court judge out of office. I did. On a side note, with that Alabama Tennessee game, though, that does sets up nicely, I think, for Alabama this week. They play Tennessee in a nice revenge game. The line's 9, nice and tight there, and I think Alabama's going to destroy Tennessee.
I like it too. I'm with you. I'm on the Crimson Tide as well. Let's talk a little bit about Stanford, Colorado. That was a wild one.
That was very wild.
I mean, I took Stanford in the points, but I didn't think the money line was that. I mean, I thought it was possible because Colorado.
It was awful. I was thinking too. I had Stanford. I'm like, what am I doing? First half, what am I thinking here? Yeah. You know, because they're just so bad. But then that was their bowl game. You know, Stanford's bowl game was playing out there, and then it was an obvious culture war. It couldn't be more. The uniform said it all. Everything said it all. The fan bases say it all. It's just hilarious. But 97-yard slants to the house. I mean, what was going on out there?
I mean, to be up 29-0, that was almost 32-0. They missed a field goal right before the half.
Right.
To lose, you know, after being that dominant in the first half, unbelievably bad look for the Buffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice win for Stanford. They're going to own that. It's the final time that game will be played, probably.
Now, what's Deion doing? But this is the second time he's done this now. in a game in overtime where he elects to take the ball first.
I don't understand that.
Does he not know the rules?
He has to after we blasted him.
Right.
Every college football podcast blasted him after the Colorado State game.
Yeah. And then they asked him, one reporter finally asked him, he's like, I trust my quarterback to score. Great. We do too. But that's not the point. He'll get a chance to score.
You want to know what you have to do. All right. It's just common sense here. Man. Unbelievable. Some of the other outcomes, that was a big win for Stanford's program, I think, for Troy Taylor getting that thing started in year one. Dog wise, some of the dogs we gave away, I said, well, there's one that we just have to address, not only because I hit on this thing, but we had a little friction in the off season about the Hawkeyes and the Badgers.
Yeah, we did
in Madison. This game was fucking hilarious. Did you watch this game?
I turned it on and I wouldn't do it to myself. I'm like, why am I suffering? I couldn't even have it on one of the several TVs that were open. I mean, this was a beautiful Dundee special here. What did they throw for 35 yards? Did they throw for Iowa?
Yeah, I think 37.
And they wasn't going away.
Oh, they almost won by more. They had a safety. They had a safety where the ball was out in the end zone and they didn't recover it. It looked like they were going to get it. This was almost This was almost 19-6. This was almost a dominating double-digit point win.
I mean, it was amazing.
Instead,
Mordecai did get hurt there in the second, right before halftime, but that wasn't going to change anything. They're terrible. This thing is a disaster. This Wisconsin new fickle offense is a disaster.
Yeah, the fans were booing. The Wisconsin fans were booing the offense. This is what I'm talking about. Look, Iowa. Everyone loves the shit on this.
Right.
And here's what I don't understand. So look, 10 punts, 9 first downs. All right.
Yeah.
But you won by 9 on the road at a team that, people were thinking was good, by the way, and they hold Wisconsin to 2 for 17 on third down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's my point here is that, over the years, we've seen awful defenses.
Right.
Even USC's defense right now, awful. Right. And I don't think they get the national, I don't think they get shit on as much as Iowa's offense. And here's my point here is so Iowa won this game. They're 6-1 with a backup quarterback, right? They are home to Minnesota this week, right?
Yep.
Minnesota PJ Flex never won against Kirk Ferentz. So I would favor Iowa to move to 7-1. Then they get a bye week and then they take on Northwestern at Wrigley, which, I feel like Northwestern plays them harder than most teams, but you would have to favor Iowa. They'd be 8-1. Then they're home to Rutgers, which Rutgers is actually playing pretty good this year.
I'm not ready to give any Rutgers wins. That's for sure.
But at least it's in Iowa City. If it was in Piscataway, I think I would kind of agree with you that I think Rutgers.
Yeah, that's true.
Team. Yeah. Then they're home to Illinois. Illinois showed some signs of life, beating Maryland at Maryland last week.
Which we threw out there, by the way.
Yes, we did though.
Illinois was one of our double-digit dogs.
Yes, folks, and the Iowa Hawkeyes, which I think were 9.5 or 10.
Yeah.
And then they end the season at Nebraska on Black Friday. Dude, I'm not ready to sit there and say they're going to go 11-1, but I see a fucking path for them to go 11-1.
I think they should fire Ferentz if the Iowa team averages over 25 points a game. That's because that's when they're not doing right,
Yeah, they average over 25. They're going 5-7. I guarantee.
Absolutely right.
I mean, I just thought that game. Me and Patty C were watching that, and I thought it was a fucking beautiful defensive performance, man. Every play, I felt like was almost a strip sack. Almost an interception, something where just Wisconsin just could not get comfortable,
right? And
could not have any success on the offensive side of the ball. And Deacon Hill throwing for a cool 37 wins again. All right,
he's 7 beautiful yards. I can't wait till they're playing Oregon next year in Washington. These games,
dude,
God,
he's like the hefty. You remember Jared Lorenzen?
Yeah, of course.
Deacon Hill is the closest thing to Jared Lorenzen.
Oh, all right. I'm on board for that.
But without talent.
That's a perfect Iowa quarterback. Right there. He doesn't look the part, nor can he play the part. But he is a corn-fed. Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
Tom in the chat saying, as an Iowa fan, they can stay as long as he wants, but I am a bit confused by this. What he's trying to say here, Don Brown. I think he's thinking of Phil Parker. But yeah, I get your point. Phil Parker is the defensive coordinator.
You're right.
But yeah, either way, that game was hilarious. All right, we're gonna get to a few other ones, and then we're gonna talk a little Tuesday, Wednesday, college football, some weekday college football. But before we do that, I want to tell you that the College Football Experience Bob's Down Under episode is brought to you by SGPN Second Chance Survivor, plus the NFL Gambling Podcast Review. Look, we all want a second chance at life. All right. And I'm not talking about one of those Steve Howe second chances. All right, look, we know you're knocked out. You're knocked out of the NFL Survivor. I am too. I took the Redskins to beat the Bears. They ate a pile of shit on that. It was a stupid play. It was a very stupid play by me. Don't worry, we got you covered with the SGPN Second Chance Survivor presented by Corey Pinkston and Barking Dog Properties. $3,000 are up for grabs, folks. Winner take all starts this weekend. So sign up now. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. Oh, did we mention it's free? Also, the NFL Gambling Podcast were brought to you by, and look, the NFL Gambling Podcast, those guys are doing a review contest. Leave an Apple Podcast review with your favorite touchdown related bet for the weekend. And the biggest winner gets a $50 SGPN gift card. Make sure to include your YouTube username in the review so we can contact the winner and let it ride, people. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Look, Underdog Fantasy has a way to play alongside your favorite football team all season long. Underdog has just introduced Scorchers. Go 5 for 5 and pick up Scorchers and enjoy a spicy 100 times payout. And for a limited time only, Underdog is extending their first deposit bonus up to $500. They're giving away $100,000 every Sunday. Yes. 10 lucky players will win $10K each every single Sunday. We're talking dogs. I think you might want to sprinkle a little money on the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders.
Ooh.
Against the Flaming Libs of Liberty.
I'm done fading Liberty. I'm getting sick of it. They started out early. They're picking up Steve. I mean, it could be a look ahead game. I'll give you that,
Take the points, and the Blue Raiders are better than what people think. They almost knocked off Mizzou at Mizzou. They're better than their record indicates. Stockstill's a veteran head coach. Okay. Take the points. Let's go. But look, so watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little extra cash on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. When you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy. Promo code SGPN. All right, we are back on the College Football Experience. Couple other games to react to. We're gonna definitely eat a bag of shit on UNLV.
Oh my God.
Apparently, I woke up the beast. I woke up the beast when I was arguing with them on Twitter. Because
look at that. I mean, God,
they're 5-1. They haven't beat a team with a winning record, but who gives a shit? They're 5-1. I think if they're
handling business. They won the Fremont experience or whatever the hell it is going away.
Oh man, I got people in the chat over, saying, "What color's the wagon, Colby? What color? It's red."
It is white. I mean, they light us up on there. I like them again this week too. Actually,
Colorado State, especially the way that Colorado State. Did you see how they won?
Of course, that was insane. The over-hitting, Colorado State hitting that Hail Mary. I mean, what? No, it wasn't just a Hail Mary. It was the entire comeback. It was
it was like 17. Or no, they scored what? 21. They were down 17. Yeah. No, 18. Right?
All like the last 4 minutes.
Yeah. Absolutely insane. But I need Colorado State to win this one, so I'm actually not going to bet it just because of that. If Colorado State wins it, I can see a path for us. I can see it's a very critical game. But man, UNLV looking like they got Ricky Woods and Randall Cunningham back. We're gonna probably eat shit on that. Yeah, you think?
I think.
Yeah,
I've already prepared myself for that. Yeah, it's bad. I mean, kudos to them. Kudos to UNLV. They've proven us wrong, if you will. Speaking of that Mizzou game, though, the Mizzou team that Middle Tennessee State almost gave a good competition to. What an amazing win they had versus Kentucky, down 14-0, and they pull out the old fake punt from the 40.
You see that throw? You see that throw?
Oh. It was his first ever throw too.
I love that. I was actually watching over the summer because I'm a fucking maniac. I was watching Buddy Ryan did that with the Eagles in '86, where
John
he did
Telchik. John Telchik was the punter.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites though. Is when you just throw the ball to make it look like a punt because the returner can't see it go off the leg of the punter. That's kind of what Mizzou did. It's just
it's like a Statue of Liberty almost, an upright, just a Y.A. Tittle kind of a thing. And was that Luke Bauer? Got to give his name to punter. We got to give a shout out to him.
Yeah, that thing looked good. Good. Get him a shit. He's better. He looks better than a bunch of start for Iowa.
Right? Good start for Iowa. Good God, Eli Drinkowitz. Shout out to the coach. What a great coach.
I'm on that over.
That changed the whole game.
Yeah, I'm on that over. That was a huge win for that over as they continue to roll on. They're in second place in the SEC East. They still have to play Georgia now. Georgia loses Brock Bowers for potentially the season.
Oh, I know. I had a Heisman ticket on Bowers too. I liked it, like 120-1 or something. That was a shot in the preseason. Whatever. It's a little pizza money, as I say on it. But yeah, he shouldn't come back at all. They're talking about him
like a top 10 pick.
Yeah, why the hell would he come back? It's crazy.
But that's a huge loss, man. Because
that's going to change their offense for sure.
Yeah, that is a huge loss. He's one of the best players in college football. Dude, Wyoming money line should have hit. I don't know if you watched this game. So Wyoming takes the lead in the fourth quarter to go.
All right.
Like they score a touchdown. It's 27-27 at the extra point. If it went in, they would have had a 1-point lead.
Yeah.
Well, no, they forget to block somebody who just comes right through the middle, blocks the extra point. So it's 27-27. They kick the ball off to Air Force. They strip the very next play after the kickoff. They strip the quarterback, and they're in good shape. Before Andrew Peasley takes a ridiculous sack and they end up having to kick a 50-yard field goal, and they miss their second missed field goal of the second half. And then Air Force, John Lee Eldridge has like the craziest 80-yard touchdown run after a fake punt. It was just insane. It was just I feel like Wyoming was the right side. I gave this away as a double-digit dog. I feel like if you watch this game, I know a lot of people in the chat the other night were saying, we got robbed here on Wyoming money line, but Air Force continues on. They're undefeated. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I know we have the bombs episode on the weekend college football bombs. Dude, we got the Commander-in-Chief.
Commander-in-Chief, first phase of the Commander-in-Chief trophy coming up.
You're telling me you're getting 11?
Yeah, the Navy.
Service Academy against Service Academy? I just think that's a little ridiculous, but I'm just tipping my hand a little bit.
First time Air Force has been favored in that game since 1997.
Whew. Since Blaine Morgan.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta like how Air Force runs that offense though with the quarterback option.
Gorgeous.
Options. It's amazing.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. It makes me think that Jeff Monken really fucked up by going to the shotgun, because here are these rule changes, and Troy Calhoun says, no, we're just going to adapt. We're going to make them call it. And it's been working fine. So here you have Army that's kind of thrown out their old system, thinking we can't win with this anymore because these rule changes, and you're seeing Air Force look fucking amazing. So I wonder if Army went out and hired a different offensive coordinator. So I don't think they're going to pull the plug on that, at least for a couple of years. Right. But it makes you wonder. Want to talk about our Miami Hurricanes future?
Okay.
We have an under. What was it? 7.5, I think.
7.5 was the under. Yeah.
They're sitting here. So obviously they went week 2 and they beat Texas A&M. I was terrified. I was like, son of a bitch. They're much better than I thought.
Yeah. They look great.
Well, and then we had the Georgia Tech debacle, which almost it counts for the A&M game being a loss, because we had them beating Tech.
Sure.
Now they lose by 10 in Chapel Hill. They're hosting Clemson this weekend. I think if they lose to Clemson, we pretty much have cashed the ticket, right?
Wow. I mean, it's. I think I do believe one of our handicaps though was them losing to Boston College at the end of the year because they didn't feel like making the trip. So.
Yeah, but hear me out. Look,
it's gonna be questionable.
They're home to Clemson. I think Clemson fans will probably travel down there. It'll probably be a Clemson crowd.
Right.
Then home to
Clemson's been nothing special. They can
true. No, I'm not ready to crown them. I'm not ready to crown the Tigers. Then they're home to UVA, but UVA historically plays them really tough.
Right.
Then they're at NC State, followed by at Florida State. I mean, I know the Florida State game can get wild, but you got to think if they lose to Clemson and Florida State, we just need one other team, whether it's NC State, whether it's Louisville, whether it's at Boston College. It's got to be dicey. It's got to be very dicey. Do you think we're going to hit that or not?
I think this Clemson game's big, obviously. Yeah. Because they have, because they can go two different directions this whole season. The whole Georgia Tech thing is either going to begin as, a spiraling of, turning on Cristobal too, because there was talks of that, They bounced back a little bit last week, but then got overwhelmed in the second half. I can see them quitting, not
100%.
So this is a big week versus Clemson. 3-point line right now at 3.5. If they lose this, I can see them falling apart when we get that win. Because those are games. Those games are definitely winnable on our side if Miami, falls apart.
All we need is them. Look, this is what part of our handicap was that.
Right.
They're normally a bunch of quitters. Once the thing starts going downhill, you normally get like chaos and they underachieve. Right. So if they lose to Clemson, even if they beat Virginia after that and lose to NC State and Florida State, we've cashed. And then, I actually think even if they beat NC State, they lose to, let's say they just lose to Clemson and Florida State. That Florida State loss, I love that Louisville spot to fuck them up.
Yeah.
The week after the rivalry game, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting. The North Carolina wins by 10. North Carolina Tar Heels, you buying in for them being national contenders?
North Carolina? Well, like we said, they're getting better. They're starting to hit their stride a little bit.
Way better on defense than they've been.
Yeah.
lately.
Oh, of course. We never expect to have a defense like they have, and to have any sort of a defense is a icing on the cake for them. But finally, May's playing well, and the offense is clicking. And it took them a while last week, but
they got that kid back, the NCAA Tez Walker.
Yeah, and he immediate
stud, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, incredible,
unbelievable.
Thanks to new information, the NCAA started,
which they still never released.
The grandma was actually sick. We thought you were lying. So, yeah, what is this new information?
You send a doctor over there?
Anyway,
Oregon State handles UCLA. That was my number one lock of the week.
Yeah, we expect that. We called that one out.
Now, Oregon State has a bye week, but before I really loved they already have one Pac-12 loss. They can't afford a second one. That game at Arizona 2 weeks from now terrifies me.
Yeah.
Because Arizona is all of a sudden looking like a really good football team. I don't know. It's going to well I know that's 2 weeks. They have a bye week. We'll talk about that later. But any other takeaways on week 7 college football before we talk a little weekday action? Penn State, UMass. I know you're excited for that game. 63-0 Penn State.
Franklin's a piece of shit. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be playing Ohio State because I want Franklin to do what he does and choke for his big game, but like him covering these ridiculous. I mean, I guess I should be taking this information the right way that he's going to cover no matter what for his boosters and shit. But like, come on, what an asshole running this offense up 50 against UMass, against all these teams. He's just a jerk. Any other takeaways? No, I mean, well, of course you had the Dundee USC game.
Let's talk about that. Talk about that. USC's defense. I mean, I was on Notre Dame.
The defense wasn't the problem.
Yeah,
the defense was fine.
Block. Yeah,
the defense got 5 punts out of the deal. You expect, you see that happen. You're like, all right, USC's gonna win going away. I loved USC in this game because I thought Notre Dame would be tired. They were up for it. They blitzed. I mean, there was. You want to call it USC's O-line, or it was what's his face, the defensive coordinator? Who's Notre Dame's defensive coordinator? That
Al Golden.
Al Golden.
Right.
I mean, he was great. Everything he drew up was amazing.
Yeah, well, I mean, to have 49 offensive plays and 48 points is pretty remarkable.
Right. Kick return too. That kick return was the backbreaker, of course. But I mean, no matter what, I mean, it was
the defensive touchdowns too. I would say.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was all set up. That's what I mean. Like Notre Dame's offense wasn't even.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Williams, $199, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. I mean, Sam Hartman only threw for $126.
That's what I mean.
And they won.
It was bizarre. Yeah, it was kind of bizarre. They won. They handled it. It was pillar to post. And yeah, Caleb did not look good. I think it's fine. People were talking about he fell from the Heisman race, but he'll be fine. He'll still be number one. People are talking about him not being the number one pick now is insane.
No, USC. Yeah, I know exactly. USC hosts Utah this weekend. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming Cam Rising's out for the year. Who are you leaning in that one? SC's a 7-point favorite right now.
SC 7-point favorite.
Yeah.
It's the Pac-12, so you got to play those home games. But I mean, how can you lay any points with USC's defense the way it is and the way they are? But they should have a nice bounce back effort. And without Cam, I don't see Utah's offense.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think I'm going to go. Yeah,
I might go USC to get right. USC's got some losses coming down the road, but it won't be this. It was a bad spot for Utah to catch USC.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was the big one. Kansas lost it. So the mullet in Oklahoma State.
Speaking of which, Kansas though, Central Florida. Good Lord, what is going on over there down there?
Wait. When they whoops UCF's ass? Oh yeah, because it goes from week to week. Yeah,
they started off 31-0 to their backup quarterback for fun. What are you doing down there, Gus?
Well, they're catching a big number.
Right, you just gave up 29 straight to Baylor. Now you're letting Jason Bean run you up and down the field. And yeah, now they go to Oklahoma, right?
They're catching a big ass number at Oklahoma, though.
They should.
Yeah.
I have no faith in this team whatsoever.
All right, let's hop on over and talk about some of the weekday games before we get out of here. But before I do that, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be that stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater that is near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll be having at that very event. And forget planning months in advance. What's that ever done for anybody? Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. All right. And they have the Game Time guarantee, which means you'll always get the best price. In fact, if you find tickets in the same section or row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So, folks, snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that promo code CFBX to get $20 off your first purchase. Once again, terms apply. Create that account, $20 off. CFBX is the redeeming code. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down leg by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. It's fantastic, folks. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today, people. Start research and start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. All right, we are back on the college football experience. And look, I know on Thursday, this is part of the C block. First off, bottom line bombs following this one.
Yes.
But on Thursday, we'll be back. CJ Sullivan will be talking double-digit dogs or just dogs in general heading into the weekend on our college football weekend bombs. And it's a pretty fire lineup. Like we talked about the Commander-in-Chief Trophy, the first installment, Air Force, Navy, Indianapolis. I know you touched on UCF, Oklahoma, Penn State heading into Columbus, a huge one there. Obviously Utah, USC, Tennessee, Bama, Washington State at Oregon. Even Texas hitting the road to take on the Houston Cougars in a game that for a long time Texas wouldn't schedule. So I know it's personal
not to preview my huge dog, but watch out for the Arizona State going to Washington for a nice little letdown game.
Little Sun Devils, little Kenny Dillingham on the road. You also got Duke traveling to Florida State. Remember, Duke's undefeated in the ACC. Both those teams are. Amazing. And then Michigan State. I can never forget the fact the punter dropped the ball. I lost a shit ton of money on that. So those games can always get a little wild. So it's a pretty loaded week of college football action. So make sure you check us out Thursday as well as the Bottom Line Bombs after the show. But look, we got Tuesday night college football. We got 3 games on tonight, 2 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Middle Tennessee, the Blue Raiders. See, I think Middle Tennessee. I think so they're 2-5, but Rick Stockstill is a very good coach. If they were able to pull off an upset, I see a path that they could go bowling. So look, they lost by 4 at Mizzou. That's a good loss, man. I know they got housed at Bama week 1. They barely let 1-score game to Colorado State. This team is a better team than their record indicates. I think they can give the Flamin' Libs a game in Lynchburg, Virginia there. I know Liberty gets lit, but here's like you mentioned, and I know you're terrified of taking Liberty, but the Libs have Western Kentucky on deck. That's going to be for the championship.
That's what I mean. It is a look ahead spot for them, but it's also Tuesday, middle of the week, in a they're in their
on a dry campus. They're going to be focused.
Yeah, they are going to be focused.
I think you got to take the points. So
14 that's a lot. That is definitely a lot of points. I mean, they almost lost to Sam Houston for God's sakes.
A goal line stand.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, there's no other way to tip but take the 14 points. I want to stay away from it. I like the other game better, to be honest with you. I like taking the points with Jacksonville State.
I like this one too. The Hilltoppers, they're once again another look ahead spot as they have Liberty on deck.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing that's interesting about this one. If Jacksonville State wins this, they would have the inside track on playing, but I don't think they can play for their conference. I got to look into that ruling.
I'm not sure. What can they do? They so this is their first year in the FBS, right?
But JMU last year couldn't go to the Sun Belt Championship, but I don't know if that's a NCAA bylaw or I don't know if that's a conference rule. I think it's an NCAA bylaw, but we'll see. Because if Jackson State wins this game as a 7.5 point dog, I love the dogs are barking. We know now that Zion Webb, the former Clemson quarterback, is going to get the start. He was dinged up the past couple weeks. That's huge news for Jacksonville State fans because we thought it might be a 3rd string quarterback starting, which was going to be terrifying. But with Zion Webb starting, I do like the 7.5. And what I mean, Rich Rod against that, plus 260 on the money line.
I love it. I love Rich Rod tonight.
Now I'll say my favorite play. Well, let me get to this one. Southern Miss, Frank Gore Jr. This is one I could not be. This might be the team I was most off on all year. I thought Southern Miss would be a bowl team, and they got that Brett Favre blood money coming in there. And I thought, they made a bowl last year, and I thought Will Hall had the trajectory of the program going up. No, they've been a complete disaster. They go out and get a Clemson transfer quarterback, Billy Wiles. It has not worked out. They're catching 18.5. on the road in Mobile, Alabama at Hancock Whitney Stadium against South Alabama. It was a 7-point game a year ago, but I don't know what the hell's wrong in Hattiesburg. But I'll take the 18.5 just because it's a conference game. Each other. It's a personal, this is somewhat of a rivalry game. I feel like, it's a brand new rivalry, but I'm saying they're not that far from one another. What are you doing here in this spot?
It's up to 19 in some spots. I'm seeing that Southern Miss is abysmal. That's the only problem. But I hear what you're saying. That's a lot of points for this rivalry. Hopefully they can just try to keep it close. I see it around a 14, 17 point game, maybe. So hopefully they can keep it in there. But I can't get excited by taking Southern Miss. You just got to take it and don't think about it.
Now, Daquan, the great in the chat. Shout out to Daquan. He goes, "What's the lock of the day for me?" I think it's Middle Tennessee plus. If you can get over 14, obviously huge. But I think they're going to cover it. I actually don't mind a slight money line play on the Blue Raiders.
Ooh,
the
plus
same
485. I'm saying
yes, I don't mind it, man, and I also don't mind the Jacksonville State angle. I like both of those bets. I'm betting both of those. Southern Miss, South Alabama. I'm probably going to bet just because we only have 3 games.
Yeah,
but I'm not putting up substantial. This will be hey, I'm going to put, $50 on Southern Miss or something. I'm not. The other ones I'm going to put a couple C notes on. You know what I mean? So, what's your favorite one's Jacksonville State, huh?
My favorite's Jacksonville State plus a 7.5 and a sprinkle, of course, on the 260 money line with Rich Rod on in there. Both we're playing both sides of the look ahead of Western Kentucky.
Yeah,
and Liberty who play next week. So we're
like
playing both their opponents. I like the look ahead. How about a looky-loo 2-teamer look ahead parlay? Let me see what a Jacksonville State and a Middle Tennessee State money line parlay would be. That would be 19, almost 20 to 1.
Whew.
I mean, how do you not get on that?
I like that. Just bring a little bit.
Yeah, just a little.
Let me ask you about this one. I know we're going to talk Wednesday college football, but you're a Philadelphia Philly lifetime fan.
Yep.
Are you touching the game tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks? Are you going to drop anything on that game?
Well, that also will be covered in the bottom line bombs coming up right after this. But
then hold it right there. Let's hang it put it out, dangle it right in front of them. All right.
A little carrot.
All right, so folks, what are you doing? Check out that episode coming up right next. But Wednesday, the airport, Florida International, get Sam Houston. Sam Houston's gonna get a win one of these weeks. Damn it, it's here.
It's their time.
The line is telling me it's here. I'm laying the 5 with the Bearcats at the Bear Claw.
Minus 5. That's insane. Got to do it. Love it.
Yeah, let's go. And then you got the Battle of I-10. Classic rivalry over 100 years. The first time they played was like 1910 at the Sun Bowl. In my opinion, one of the best stadiums in the country. New Mexico State and Jerry Kill lay in 3. UTEP's found sudden life with their third string quarterback as they cruise to a win on Vice Night, on Miami Vice Night in Miami. I like New Mexico State minus the points here. I think Diego Pavia, obviously I'm a big fan of people that piss on their rivals' logos.
That's been a new trend. New trend. The old Ozzy Osbourne piss on the Alamo.
What are you doing here in El Paso in the Battle of the I-10?
I'm with you, New Mexico State. I like that. Piss all over. Calvin and Hobbes style. Piss on this one.
Oh man. All right, folks. That's pretty much it. I mean, anything else? I know there's some Thursday, Friday games. We're going to tackle that on Thursday.
We'll do that. Yeah. We'll do that on Thursday. I can't wait to actually talk to you about that because I know you love them, James Madison. But let's do that Thursday for the bomb. That's for the bomb.
Weekend bombs. College weekend bombs. Yeah. Part of the C block on Thursday. This is a special edition C block Tuesday. All right. Folks, you got the bottom line bombs coming right up. Make sure you give CJ Sullivan a follow on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _. Where the hell is it? I got this somewhere. There it is. If you're watching youtube.com/the college experience. And folks, also give me a follow at the Colby D. The college football experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Give us all a follow. And remember also to subscribe on YouTube. It's the hub for all of our college shows. All right. I host the college football experience. I also host the FCS college football experience as that season's fantastic right now. Like that. You thought North Dakota State's going to jump back. No, they're getting fucked up left and right. The field seems open. I mean, South Dakota State won it last year, but check out that pod. Also, you got the college basketball experience dropping all 31 conference previews. And look, folks, get on over there. Check that out. We got a bunch scheduled for tonight. Big 12. We're deep in the thick of it. The season tips on November 6th. Also, you got the college baseball experience with myself and Noah Beanick and the Big 12 experience with Moneyline Mag. It's the Big 12. Just said Dan Hawkins once. Go check that out. Also, check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. That should be good on the Patreon. I'm gonna jump on an episode. We're gonna talk about the history of Pick Dundee with SGP this week on the Patreon. So subscribe to the Patreon. And also Friday night, they're live on VSiN, Brent Musburger's network. If you get YouTube TV, you get VSiN, folks. VSIN. All right. If you got the NFL package, you're getting this thing. So Friday night, 9:00 Pacific. Make sure you check out the Sports Gambling Podcast every single Friday night, might I add, at 9:00 Pacific. Bottom line bombs coming up next, folks. This is the college football experience. Bombs down under. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here. Run and shoot.